Hey guys, welcome back. We're still on this messy to minimal journey, working in my oldest daughter's bedroom today to do so much decluttering and organizing, just giving it that extra special mama's touch. Give this video a thumbs up if you can relate. Sometimes your kids just need their mom to come in and do an entire reset for them, and that's what we're doing today. Kinsley's closet, her dresser, literally every surface in her room has just been piled high with stuff that has become so overwhelming. She can't even clean her room anymore because there's literally nowhere to put anything. So it was time. I just had to come in here and get it done for her and help her start the year off on the right foot. I know there's so many like toys and clothes and things that she's just outgrown, and it's time to go ahead and let them go. But since I was in here in general, I wanted to strip her bed and get all of her sheets and her comforter, all of her bedding into the washing machine. Anytime I'm doing a project like this where I'm like coming in and really cleaning or doing any kind of decluttering in her space, I just like to get her bedding washed so that she has not just a clean space to come home to, but also a fresh bed to come home to. I just feel like there's nothing better than a clean bedroom and clean sheets. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, I went and put those in the wash, and then I'm going to take advantage of having all of this surface area on the bed. So I'm going to empty out her dresser and put everything on the bed, all of her clothes, so that I can see them all at once. And it is such a Mod Podge. There's like 3 different sizes and 3 different seasons worth of clothes in here. This is just, it was a lot. Instead of doing routine like decluttering and keeping up with it as she outgrew things and we got different seasons worth of clothes and things like that, we've just been piling on top of everything. And clearly you can see that her drawers, she couldn't even put her clothes away anymore. It was hard for her to shut them. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of it now. And this is something that is always so hard and emotional for me, especially now with Kinsley being the age that she is. She just turned 9 on her last birthday. So this is her last year of being in the single digits, and it is hitting me hard, you guys. So decluttering through any of the toys she's outgrown or any of the clothes she's outgrown, it's just like a physical representation that she's not my baby anymore. Like, her babyhood is gone. She's rounding the corner into double digits, and it just makes me so overly emotional. I feel like it's one of those milestones that you don't anticipate it's going to hurt this much until you're actually coming up on it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just got punched in the face. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dramatic. You guys will have to let me know. Can any of you relate to that? Or am I just being like too much right now and it's really not that big of a deal? But anyway, regardless of how I was feeling, I am going to force myself to tackle this project. I'm going to look at every single piece of clothing, inspect it to make sure that it's still in good wearable condition. And then anything that is not Kinsley's current size, we will be donating. And anything that she is still wearing, loving, fitting, obviously I'm going to refold using the KonMari style of folding. I'll show a close-up clip here in a second so that you can see exactly how I do that. It just fits back into her drawers beautifully that way. And then everything that is being donated, we will be taking to our local women and children's shelter. They always have a great need for women and children's clothing, outerwear, and baby and infant supplies. So I like to donate there whenever I can, and I would highly recommend that if you are going to be decluttering through your clothes, your children's clothes, or any of those categories anytime soon, definitely do a quick Google search, find out if there is a women and children's shelter local to you, and consider making your donation there as opposed to anywhere else. If there isn't one, there usually is some kind of community outreach though, and like I said, you can always find that with a quick Google search. But this is that clip of the KonMari style of folding that I was talking about earlier, and I'm definitely no expert. This is just my understanding of the KonMari method of folding, and it works out really well, especially for clothing drawer organization. So if you are needing to revamp your dresser drawers, feel free to slow this clip down, rewatch it as many times as you need to, and definitely try out this method because it is a total game changer.
I've been losing sleep. What to do? Could somebody come and take me away? I've been in the deep, Take me from this tree I've been in. I need to get in closer to you. I swear you might exceed. Oh baby, I've been waiting for you. Now we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your hand in mine. Yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on. Oh, wow. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, staying strong. Oh, wow. It looks like we. It looks like we.
One of my very favorite things about Kinsley is how creative and artistic she is. She has this unreal natural talent. Like, I could only dream of creating some of the things that I have seen her make in her lifetime, which is so crazy because she is just 9 years old, but she really is so talented. But she really works on those skills, and she's constantly like indulging this passion of hers and trying to do better, trying different mediums and supplies and methods and techniques. It is truly remarkable. I feel so blessed, and I feel like our family is so blessed to have our lives enriched by this part of her personality. She just adds so much creativity and brightness and specialness into our lives, and it's truly amazing to watch and such a blessing to be able to raise her that way. And so I love to facilitate that as much as possible and encourage it as much as possible, but then it makes it kind of hard sometimes, like moving on here to her desk. It makes it so hard for me to declutter any of those things, or especially to organize them. I feel like her art supply collection is constantly growing, which I love and encourage, but that means it's constantly outgrowing the organization that I have in place, and so I try to revamp it. And working here on her desk was definitely the hardest part of this entire bedroom project, I guess you could say, because I did want it to be organized and all of her supplies to be easily accessible so that it could be functional, but there wasn't really very much that I could declutter. I really just had to kind of rework what was already there to make room for new supplies that she had gotten for her birthday and the holidays and things like that. So you're going to see me mess around here quite a bit, put things away, and then change it up again, and just try and get as much as I could into this organizer that sits on top of her desk. I like to put everything in here. I found this organizer, I think at Home Goods, but it's also available on Amazon. I'll link it down in the description box if you're looking for something like this. But I found it, I want to say a year or two ago, and it has worked out great. It really encourages her and sometimes inspires her because she can kind of see all of her supplies right there. We love that it's clear acrylic and she can see through it, but it also becomes very messy very quickly. So I'm going to just pull everything out of here and rework this organization. Eventually I do find a way to get like 90% of her supplies in here, and it turns out looking great, and she is back to using this desk space every single day again, but it definitely was a little bit of a headache. So I just wanted to share that just in case you run into an organization project where you feel like you're a little bit stumped or you're constantly having to rework it. Just know that nobody gets things right on the very first try, and just because something is sustainable in the moment doesn't mean that it necessarily will be long term, and it's okay if you have to revisit the same spaces. Sometimes it's just a part of life. We all have to do it. So please don't let that get you down or feel discouraged. I promise you can figure it out, and it's totally fine if it takes you a couple of tries.
Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
So in Kinsley's nightstands, we mostly use these to store away all of her books. Eventually, I hope that changes, but right now this is just where we have space for them. But this top drawer in particular really needed my attention. She's been shoving all kinds of schoolwork and pieces of art and just all kinds of things in there, and it was completely out of control. So I went ahead and sorted through it all. Any of her graded school papers that she's already gotten report cards for, I went ahead and recycled those and made sure to keep anything that was like recognition or award certificates or anything like that. And then all of her spiral bound notebooks and all of her art instruction manuals that she has, a few pieces that she's currently still working on. I put all of those in here, and it was just a night and day difference. It's so much more functional now. This bottom drawer though and the other nightstand is where all of her books are, and I'm not going to be decluttering any of those. She's still adding to her Dork Diaries series and the Magic Tree House and Marlin's Mission, so I know we're keeping all of those. And then we also have The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes. I read all of those with Kinsley last year, but we're saving them for when Sawyer is old enough and it's relevant for her. That was one of my favorite book series when I was Kinsley's age, and I loved passing that along and sharing it with her, but I didn't realize that it is like out of print now, so you can only buy them secondhand. I had to go to all different sources to find this series, and we're missing a couple of the books that I was never able to find, but overall we have a pretty complete series. But it just made me think, have any of you ever read The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes, or do you even know what I'm talking about? Or is it just like this obscure middle school aged series that never really made it to the mainstream, and that's why it's out of print? It's kind of like As Told by Ginger. That was one of my favorite shows when I was Kinsley's age, but I feel like either it's one of those things where either you loved it and watched it too, or you literally never heard of it. So you guys will have to let me know, did you ever hear of Abby Hayes? But now that I'm done rambling, we are moving on into Kinsley's closet, and I'm going to empty out this space so that I can start sorting through it and make it a lot more functional for her and her current needs.
We've said our goodbyes, but we won't go home just yet. You got your head down, just like when we
Look at this closet. I am so proud of myself for how much I was able to clear out of here and get this space back to functional again. It is a night and day difference from when I first walked into Kinsley's bedroom. There's actually like open space now and open surfaces, and it's so much more functional. I feel like this is something that I have to constantly keep up with. We live in a very small house with extremely limited storage options. Really, the closets in our home are the only storage that we have available to us. So that means that I am constantly having to revisit them, declutter, reorganize, and find ways to make them multifunctional. I can't just hang clothes and forget it. Like, we have to use every square inch of that space. And sometimes that can feel a little bit frustrating or discouraging because I know it's just going to get messy again, so I can start feeling like, what's the point in even trying? But this is the point. Seeing these after shots and knowing that, at least for the time being, every single item in there is something that Kinsley loves and wants in her space, and that it's so much more functional for our current needs. It really is such a relieving and satisfying feeling. So I wanted to share that with you just in case you can relate to it and you feel like, what's the point? Or you're feeling discouraged by your small home and limited storage areas. If you have a closet that you have been putting off or a project that you have been avoiding, take this as your sign. Just go ahead and get started on it. Starting is always the hardest part, but once you do, I promise it's just kind of like a snowball effect, and you end up feeling so much better and so satisfied and accomplished. So I hope that this encouraged some of you out there who may have some closets that you're currently ignoring, and I also hope that you got a ton of motivation from today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. That always helps my channel so much, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I'd love to have you join my little community. But thanks so much for choosing to spend your time here with me today, and I will catch you in the next one.